Dear friends, today we are going to discuss about the organometallics or organometallic compounds. Before going to the detailed explanation for the organometallic compounds, first let us look on to the definition for organometallic compounds. Okay, what are organometallic compounds? Organometallic compounds are the compounds and they must contain at least one metal carbon bond. In this session, for time being, we need not bother about the nature of the bond between metal and carbon bond. So, what is the nature of the bond? Nature of the bond means whether it is covalent bond or ionic bond. Okay, if it is covalent bond, then it is sigma bond or pi bond. So, we need not bother about for right now. Then, one more thing we must, we need not bother about is the number of bonds between metal and carbon atom. Okay, whether it is single bond or double bond or triple bond, whatever it is. So let us look on, let us discuss those things on the later videos or later sessions. Okay, then the second thing in the organometallic compound, the carbon atom which is directly attached with the metal must belong to an organic molecule or organic residue or organic ion or radical. Okay, that carbon atom which is directly attached with the metal should not be belonging to the inorganic molecule or inorganic part or inorganic residue. Okay, that carbon atom should be solely coming from the organic molecule. Okay, now let us move on to the compounds which are making confusion with the organometallic compounds. So what are all the compounds which are which can be sometimes misunderstood as organometallic compounds? So first let us look on to the let us start with one example called carbides. You know that carbides, you know that it is a well-known inorganic compound, but here sometimes we may have the doubt whether why not these carbides are not coming under the organometallic part. Okay, why it is so? Why these carbides cannot be included in the organometallic compounds? Because we know that in the inorganic chemistry you might have studied that carbides are nothing but inclusion compounds. What are inclusion compounds? Inclusion compounds are nothing but, suppose if you take any metals, so inside the metals you may have some hole. So this hole can be occupied by pure carbon atom, only carbon atom. And this carbon atom will not make any bond with the surrounded metal atom. But in the organometallic compounds, we might have seen that the carbon atom should be a part of, first thing, the carbon atom should be a part of organic molecule. Second thing, the carbon atom should have at least one bond with the metal atom. So absolutely, ultimately, the two criteria were not satisfied by the carbides. Therefore, the carbides are well-known inorganic compounds, but they cannot be considered as organometallic compounds. Then let us come to the second criteria, that is, which type of compound cannot be considered as the organometallic compounds. First let us come to the example, what is called, it is one heterocyclic compound. Okay, this heterocyclic compound having carbon atoms. There are 4 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Okay, suppose if I am taking one metal, suppose if this metal is making a bond with this carbon, suppose it is forming a compound with this carbon, that is this carbon, then it is called organometallic compound. Okay, sometimes the same metal may have bond with this oxygen atom, then it is not an organometallic compound, because it is the entire organic molecule. Even though it is said to be an heterocyclic compound, it is first of all an organic molecule. So according to the definition, the metal should have a bond with a carbon atom, and that carbon should belong to the organic molecule. Okay, therefore if that metal is making a bond with any hetero atom other than carbon, even though the entire molecule is belonging to an organic molecule, then it cannot be considered as an organometallic compound. Okay, then which compound can be considered, that is other than this criteria, other than metal carbon criteria, which compound can be considered as organometallic compounds? Then let us discuss the last criteria. Organometallic compounds which are not having pure metals, and instead of the pure metals, some non-metals also are going to make a bond with the carbon of the organometallic carbon of the organic molecules. Okay, for example, silicon. Okay, some silicon or boron. Okay, so and we have a lot of examples. So for non-metals, so silicon or boron even though they are said to be non-metals, if these non-metals are making a bond with the carbon of the organic molecule, then these are also considered as organometallic compounds. No doubt at all. But if the same silicon, if the same boron or any other metal is not making bond with the carbon or making bond with oxygen, sulfur or nitrogen, then they will be called non-organometallics. That is, they cannot be considered as organometallic compounds. Okay, my dear friends, up to this session, let me wind up the definition for organometallic compound. So in the later videos, let us discuss the advanced topics of the organometallic compounds. Thank you.